Alright, let's get through this. Lock that open. Pull that down. Slide it forward. Boom. Remove it into its 4 food groups. Then we got to get a towel. Some of you people use grease, some of you use oil. I like the grease and oil, but we're going to wipe the grease off because it makes cleaning a whole lot easier. Give it a generic wipe down. Just to kind of remove all the big hunks of shite. Look at that. Sorry, I'm first time doing any sort of video. So anyway, you kind of wipe all that crap out. Blah blah, scrubby wipey wipey. All we're doing on this pass is just to wipe. Woo, look at that. I'm moving the camera. Just wipe out the generic crap. Alright, so we're going to lay this down. Okay, your cleaning mat. We're going to start with hops number 9. Alright, so we do a little on that. Screw a little on this. Just a little. And then we scrubby. What we're trying to do is liquefy, suspend all the garbage, carbon and burnt gunpowder. We're trying to suspend that into the hops. This is the generic clean. Scrubby. I'm sure there's some safety police or someone saying, oh, do it in a well-ventilated area. Make sure we get underneath the rails. Don't really give a rip. I'm going to turn the air compressor on. It's going to get noisy. If you don't have an air compressor, use something. I'm going to put this off camera. We're going to go for the slide next. Same thing. Add a little Joy Juice. Clean, get all that up there. Hops is cheap, guns are expensive. Just remember that. Scrubby. Don't forget to clean the outside, folks. Scrubby. Anyway, if you don't have an air compressor, you can definitely use those cans of compressed air, like the computer cleaner, the computer duster shit. Alright, we're gonna... Ooh. There's my air compressor getting mad at me. I'm gonna put a little in here. Scrubby. Make sure you get in those rails. Ooh, shut off. Alright, so this is the easy part. This is the non-tedious. See, as I'm getting in here. Anywhere where you think gunpowder residue may hide out. Get along there, along the extractor, claw, scrubby. Right in there. These brushes are freaking awesome. So we got most of the main parts clean. We're going to clean the spring too. That's pretty. The spring is pretty clean, pretty easy to clean. You just scrubby like that. All right, now we're going to activate our magical wand here. So you put that in there. So since we got everything suspended in the hops, the solvent, we're going to blow it out. That makes wiping off pretty easy. We're going to try this one over here. You can almost see the garbage moving off. Hops number 9, kids. It's better than huffing gold paint. Almost. So you see that rag is kind of... There we go. Let's stick some in there. Ooh. Sometimes you just got to jam it in the hole. Sinners. Scrubby, scrubby, wipey, wipey. Alright, now we get out our wonderful technical tool. It's called a Q-tip. Let's put some of that there. And then you kind of wipe the crevasses inside. See, it kind of comes out dirty, but not as dirty as if you're just trying to dry wipe out all that stuff. So some people complain that Hops number 9 stinks. If you're going to be a shooter or around the firearms at all, you're going to end up kind of considering, I can't say an aphrodisiac, but it does make my pee-pee hard. So we'll put that off to the side. That's pretty well done and cleaned. So now let's go ahead and try this. All right, so this one right here. Get the crevasses. Oh, that's a little gray. Get the rails. We'll put that off. We don't need that one. We're going to get rails here. See? Oh. Now here's another part right in here. This likes to collect dirt. And on this side, and we're going to get in here. I might actually have to get some parts because this guy started to failure to eject or extract today. I wonder if it's because it was dirty, but it's also because they've upgraded this to a different style of piece. Scrubby, scrubby, wipey, wipey. We're going to take a clean patch. We got the ones that are meant for shotguns, but I like to use them for general purpose cleaning. And we're going to spin that around. Ooh, and now we're going to do the small side. So then we can just make sure she's all dried out. All dried out like an old lady in heat. Menopause. Why is that like named menopause? Why isn't it womanopause? Because it really, maybe are they pausing men? I don't know. Anyway, we're going to put that off to the side. Now this is the part that sucks. And it sucks because I'm super anal. Let's find that on camera. You'll see there's residue in there. I hate residue. So we're going to get couple of patches, and we put this on a towel because we don't want our cleaning mat to soak up all the hops, because then it stinks up your cleaning room. This is called a jag. I don't use the hook things, I use the jag, and we just push that through. You can actually, on the first a couple of passes, flip it inside out and push that through. Sometimes you have to pound on it. It's a metaphor. What's a butt for peeing out after tacos? All right, you got to watch the crevasses on here, because that'll, see that collects garbage. There's just all sorts of little hidden spots where gunpowder residue collects. Anyway, we're gonna let that sit for a spell. Hops number 9 is also a copper solvent. So what that does is it's going to turn blue if there's copper. So we're going to take this Q-tip and we're going to run the... See how it's collecting stuff and just all the crevasses. Sig Sauer. Soured Sigs. So Jags have a point. You can do this. If I can do it on camera. It's kind of hard, but there we go. We'll poke the hole through it. a spear point is what it's called. So we let that sit for a spell. Anyway, there isn't, if you look, there we go. See, a lot of that residue went away. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a brush. I would let that sit for a while. This brush is almost worn out. I'm going to change it out. But I'm brushing it about 10-15 times. Give it some good strokes. Some good strokes. We're done with that brush. These are expendable. They wear out because they're made of brass. Brass is made of copper. And we're shoving a copper solvent, which dissolves brass. Or, well, dissolves copper, which then wears out brass. So we'll put the jag on like that. It's a dry one, dry patch. Push it through, and you look. Oh my goodness. Because the other side's pretty clean, we're going to try it over again. Just kind of, ooh, yeah, pump it through. %90 of you would call that good. I see just a little fouling in there. We're going to give it a little bit more hoppies. We'll give it one more patch. And boom. Let's go through here. Give it a little scrubby. Ooh, yeah. Lady City. I'm going to turn the air compressor off. We don't need that no more. Sometimes the best cleaning fluid is that kind of the cleaning fluid for the inside. While this is decoppering, let's start the all-in process. Take a couple of big patches. CLP, great stuff. Cleans, lubricates, and protects. What a patch. Now we're going to get it all greasy because we want any exposed metal that has been, finish has been worn off, to absorb all. So they say oil in the South, all. And we want that to be happens, that way it don't rust on us. Because rust is bad. You know what they say, ashes to ashes, dust to dust. If it weren't for women, our thingies would rust. Anyway. And also this oil, it does pick up all the leftover shmoo, which is exactly what happens when you take gunpowder residue and add hoppies to it and make it into a slurry. You get shmoo. I don't know if I have to pay AV a trademark or... So we're going to do that. We'll throw that one down there. We're done with that one. We're going to do this to this guy right here. Just kind of anything metal. Oh, look, it's kind of dirty. Anything metal, like... Not like Linkin Park metal, because that really wasn't metal, or Limp Bizkit. But like, you know, like true metal, like In Flames, and I'd say Slayer, but Slayer was a fucking boring band. So we're gonna set that be. Throw that one aside. We're gonna take this last one. Make sure we all up the spring and guide rod. Make sure we oil that up. We're gonna let that sit for a spell. A spell meaning at least 3 minutes, so that the oil can impregnate the steel. Like a prom date. Did I say that out loud? That's not nice. Alright. So we'll take that. We'll wipe her down. Whoa, we should be at that point where we can go ahead and put another jag on. Jag on. You jag off. Whee! That fell off. The spear tip is almost done. They are replaceable. That's why they're only a couple of bucks. So we scrubby. And it looks a whole lot better. That's acceptable. I don't see any powder buildup, so I'm going to run this on the back side just to make sure. Push that through. Now we're going to run an oily patch or two. Push that in. Push that in like your first night in prison, kids. A little scrubby. See, you got to get cleaning rods. We'll push that in again just to make sure we got every bit on the inside oiled up. We'll wipe the outside down. Not because we're afraid the finish, because it's a good finish, is going to wear off, but mainly because this oil will absorb any sort of debris, any residue, any garbage that we didn't actually clean off with our brush. See, there's a little right there. Did you see that? There we are. Oh, focus, you fuck. There it is. Scrubby. Got extra oily rags, so let's just oil some shit. Just to make sure. Why? Because we want to be doubly prepared. See? Look at that. I'm not 100% the best cleaner of guns, but I kind of like to make mine somewhat better. Almost factory new. There's a guy, Carl Schultz, his guns were immaculate after every time he shot them. And that man could tune a 1911 like nobody's business. Anyway, this is a 320 compact. Today, after 250 rounds, it has done some failure to extracts. So I'm going to clean that extractor. I'll probably buy a new extractor. See, I'm going to wipe all this stuff down. You don't have to wipe it completely dry. You know, if you take a dry patch and just push it through, it's going to absorb all the excess oil. Like that. Let's absorb all the excess oil. Jesus, 20 minutes. That's like almost 1.5 times it takes to cook a Totino's pizza. Then again, this pistol hasn't been shot much, just enough to prove that the extractor most likely needs replaced. So anyway, you check these rails. Scrubby. Take it. Oh, there we are. Sorry. So we check the rails. Whee! Kind of anything super shiny, you just wipe up dry. Grab the frame. Wipe it down. The trigger. Like, there's a website you can go to for 320s to see if they have the voluntary trigger upgrade. I recommend doing that. I'm pretty sure this one has, just by the style of trigger. I will eventually, when I'm bored and not trying to outbid someone on a shitty watch on eBay. Like, don't outbid me by $1. That is insulting. If I'm on eBay and bidding on something and you try to outbid me, it better be more than we're gonna dry this off. It better be more than $1. I'm gonna be pissed. I'm gonna fucking try and bid that up as far as possible. So yeah, I didn't really want a 1980s Seiko digital watch. I kind of did, but I didn't exclusively. Let's move all this in the center. But since some douchebag tried to bid me up, I bid 50 being the first bid, and a day before it ended, he bid $51. Well, buddy, you're gonna pay. You want that watch bad enough, you gonna pay. All right. So I love, my best grease I love is called Milcom TW25. But apparently that's hardest to hell to find. So I've been trying a bunch of different ones. This is Hops number 9, step 4, high performance gun grease. Right? So I kind of greased the barrel. Ooh, as I drop stuff. I grease areas that you know there's going to be contact. So we'll put a little grease on the barrel. The reason I use grease and not just oil, it's not that oil's bad, but I ride motorcycles. And as riding motorcycles, so then we just rub a little on there. What happened was I noticed after oiling up my gun, I was like, why the hell is it rusty after a week? And it's right. I realized because I had it in a outside the waistband holster. And see how you can't, that's not good. There's like really one way to put that in there, right in that notch. Make sure that the plugs fits that way. Anyway, so I noticed that after like a week of riding and all that stuff, my gun was bone dry. And I realized that it, oops, sorry to shake the camera, that it had dried out by riding, had dried out all the oil on there. So I'm gonna go ahead. Ooh, to quote AVE, sometimes you expect a little squirt, but in the end you get the whole bachelor party. So we're gonna try and salvage a lot of that grease. All right, so put a little on that. Anything that you know that it's gonna run on. All right. So then we lock that up. Make sure we push that up. Otherwise, when we do this, it would shoot forward. And that almost is how we clean all the gun. Don't forget to wipe down the magazines. After a while, you actually have to strip it all the way out. But you see on this one, since I've only fired a few hundred rounds through each magazine, I just have to kind of clean out the top part. After a while though, it will generate dirt inside there, and you should strip them all the way up. Push that out, take the base plate out. Alright, that's how we clean a SIG 320 compact and 90% of your semi-automatics.